Hello, all you kings, queens, and those in between. Paresh Maharaj here, and I have foregone our usual intro music because I am just too excited to announce that we have reached a major milestone. Busted Limes has hit 1,000 downloads. You probably know what I'm about to say because you hear all the other creators say it, but damn it, I never really expected to ever reach this point. I mean, seriously, this is the kind of show where when my dad asked me who my target audience was, I said, without a hint of irony, me. It was just a creative outlet for me and my cousin Black Belt to talk about whatever we felt like because God knows the podcasting space can never have too many POC voices. Fast forward to today, and now it feels like we're part of a whole network of creative voices, some of whom we would have never met if we'd never joined this scene. But like any idea to form a podcast, the hardest part was getting started. Which brings me to the rest of this episode. On Thanksgiving weekend in 2019, I pressed record on my phone during a random conversation with a black belt about whether Steven Spielberg was full of shit for thinking Netflix movies weren't real cinema. This would go on to serve as a sort of pilot episode for Busted Limes and motivate us to continue the show to this day. And so, in celebration of how far we've come, I've decided to upload that pilot here in its entirety. Bit of a disclaimer though, the audio is very rough, and it was not edited at all. So expect a lot of crosstalk and background noise that I know how to fix in post by now. Also, see if you can spot the moment where Black Belt realized I was recording. So, without further ado, here is the recording that started our podcast journey. The birth of Busted Limes.
Like, I care about as much as that about whether Spielberg thinks Netflix movies should be eligible for Oscars or not.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. But man, I will...
Spielberg also thought Temple of Doom was a good idea, so do I really care what he thinks about what makes a good movie?
Didn't he also do Crystal Skull?
Yes.
Yeah, which, honestly, I already told you my hot take about that, is that I don't get it, people who say they don't like Crystal Skull but like Temple of Doom.
Me too.
Like,
I mean, Temple of Doom is objectively the worst of the original three.
Oh, definitely.
I would go so far as to say it's legitimately not even a good movie.
Right.
I mean, like, I don't need to say why neither of us like it.
Yeah.
But it's like, we can... It's at least...
Frozen monkey brains.
It's at least bad enough that we can make fun of it.
Yeah.
Like, there's a point where, like, the caricature is, like, close enough to the reality that it is offensive, but it's so far removed from reality that, like, it's almost like you can dissociate yourself from it.
Right.
I don't really feel like it's making fun of me because there's not enough of it that resembles anything. So.
Exactly, yeah.
But it still is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not that the female lead is just annoying in that movie, it's just... Oh my god. Have you seen it recently?
I haven't seen any of the Jones movies recently, honestly.
All she does is just scream,
well,
complain.
I haven't seen Temple of Doom recently.
Oh yeah, but I remember it pretty vividly. Like
Raiders and Last Crusade are fucking masterpieces.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean,
yeah.
I don't think any of them ever got close to being as good as Raiders was.
Raiders is still the best.
Well, actually, I would argue Last Crusade plot-wise is better than Raiders, only because the main difference between Last Crusade and Raiders is that literally Indiana Jones has no effect on anything that happens in Raiders at all. Like, I hate to say that, I know it's because of Big Bang Theory, but like, there's this line where Penny is literally like, look, if Indiana Jones never got involved in the events of Raiders, the exact same outcome happens. The Nazis find the Ark, open it, and they die. Or they literally just never find it, because they only find it because Indy has a correct map to where it is.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Last Crusade is just a great movie start to finish.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Crystal Skull is objectively better than Temple of Doom, but it also objectively never should have existed.
Yeah.
I think it says a lot that Force Awakens was able to get Harrison Ford to care more about playing Han Solo than Crystal Skull did about playing Indiana Jones.
Yeah, it's really baffling that.
I mean, especially considering he doesn't even like playing Han Solo that much. Like, the only reason they got him to come back is because they agreed to kill him off, finally. Like, the whole reason he's frozen in Carbonite in Empire Strikes Back is because they weren't sure they could get him to come back for Episode 6.
Oh, I never knew that.
Yeah.
Huh. Do you think that Indiana Jones reboot could work, though? Like, in this day and age?
The problem with reboots is two things. There have been so many reboots now that any reboot is going to be unattractive to people just because it's a reboot, regardless of whether it's good or not.
True.
Second, it's rebooting something that's in recent memory for a lot of people, because there are people alive now who still remember going to see the first one when it was in theaters, and also Harrison Ford and Steven Spielberg and basically all the cast members are still alive.
Right.
Like, we're not far enough removed from the originals that a reboot would feel necessary. It's not like when they remade Ben-Hur, where it's like, yeah, it's the greatest movie of all time, but no one is alive from when it first came out, so let's go for it.
And then no one remembers that it came out.
Right, because the first one is iconic.
Right.
The second one... Here's the thing. If a reboot can only ever be seen as a reboot of the original, it will never be successful. Like, it has to... Like, look at A Star is Born. Nobody fucking cares that it's the 5th version of that movie.
Shit, that's a great point. Yeah. I forgot about A Star is Born. Oh my god.
Yeah. Because it was good on its own.
Yes.
Granted, nobody is allowed to like Star is Born and then complain about Marvel movies rehashing the same shit over and over again. It's literally the 4th version of that movie to have been made, and all the other versions were Oscar nominated. You literally cannot
talk shit about Marvel movies rehashing the same ideas over and over again. Yeah. It's great. Yeah, no. Did you actually see it, Star is Born?
I mean, more or less. I saw my mom watch it on a plane.
Oh, okay.
Also, before that, we had seen the Bollywood version, so...
Of course, there's a Bollywood version.
Here's the funny thing. Bollywood remade A Star is Born before Hollywood remade A Star is Born.
Oh, nice. Who is in it?
I don't even fucking remember. Like,
let me guess.
For being in it. It's not like... It wasn't Shah Rukh Khan. It was, like, actual actors.
No, I was going to say Amitabh Bachchan because...
Oh, no. But it was recent.
Oh, it
like,
was.
It came out like 2011, 2012.
Dude, I'm pretty sure Hollywood remade Star is Born long before that.
No, I mean like before this version.
Oh, before this.
Yeah, it came out before the Bradley Cooper version as well.
Okay.
Yeah, no. The Hollywood version is objectively better because it doesn't have all the baggage of India being an absurdly conservative country when it comes to shit like alcoholism and suicide. So it handles those aspects of the movie much better.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Did you see Star is Born?
Yes, I did. The Bradley Cooper, only the Bradley Cooper one, though.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Yes. The movie where Lady Gaga insisted that Bradley Cooper learn how to sing before she even agreed to come
Bradley
on.
Cooper did, because if Lady Gaga tells you to do something, you fucking
do it. Especially when it's learned to sing, because God.
I don't think the movie would have worked as well if he was, lip
syncing. Yeah.
Especially since they were able to do live performances of songs afterwards. That helped a lot for marketing.
Yes.
Also found it hilarious where people were like freaking out like when they performed at the Oscars, like, oh my god, they have to actually be in love. It's like, really, because you don't think that two actors who were nominated for acting awards, who were performing the song from their movie at a movie awards for actors ceremony, might have been acting on stage. Which part of this is hard for you to understand?
Our lizard brains that desire clicks. It all comes back to the clicks.
Yeah.
That's really all it is.
Gotta get that sweet ass serotonin.
Yes. It puts the serotonin on its skin, or else it gets the hose again. It puts the serotonin. No. It puts the serotonin in the brain, or else it gets the hose again. Mm-hmm. Got to bring out the Canadian accent for that one in order to get it to work. See, we don't need Netflix. We can just talk about random shit.
Exactly. We're just gonna set our phone and start recording while we're talking, and just like.
Sorry, what? Yes, you just. I've been since we mentioned Indiana Jones. I've been recording.
Here's my thing with just movies in general. Is everybody only has 2 or 3 genres of movie that they enjoy. Right?
That is so
Not
true.
Everybody's gonna go like explore the whole catalog of Oscar-nominated bullshit.
Yeah.
So nobody can really argue that any genre is invalid.
Right.
Like obviously there's lowbrow bullshit mixed in with everything.
Mm-hmm.
That no fucking Medea movie's gonna get nominated for an Oscar.
Right.
But like you can't fucking tell me that Winter Soldier is less authentic to the cinematic experience than It 2.
Oh god.
And that's not a knock to It 2's quality. It's just that one's horror, one's action. Okay, I'll pick a movie that I've actually fucking seen.
Okay.
Like, give me a second. Like, Incredibles 2.
Oh,
like,
okay. I haven't seen that one.
Just because it's animated doesn't make it any less of a great movie.
Right.
Incredibles is a great movie. Spider-Verse is a great movie. You can't disregard them just because they're animated, just because they're about superheroes.
Right.
Like, if you think Spider-Verse is just stupid and for kids, but you adore anything Pixar puts out, you're full of shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Objectively full of shit.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's like, yes, The Godfather is a cinematic masterpiece.
Yes.
But I can enjoy The Godfather and enjoy a fucking Seth Rogen movie.
Yes.
Like, those are not mutually exclusive, and
exactly,
it doesn't make Superbad any less of a movie.
Oh, God, yeah.
I'm not going to defend The Interview or Sausage Party, because the only good thing about The Interview existing is that it pissed off North Korea enough to set off a chain reaction that led to Spider-Man being in the MCU.
Wait, what?
Yeah, the Sony leaks. Remember when Sony got hacked by North Korea? Because they were so pissed off about The Interview coming out?
Right.
Well, part of the leaks showed how fucking inept they were, because it showed, like, the emails with the execs when they were trying to figure out how to make Peter Parker and Amazing Spider-Man 2 relatable. And it was such, like, how you do fellow kids bullshit where they're talking about, like, incorporating EDM and shit into the movie.
Wow.
Like, literally, because apparently that's what the kids are into, and, like, it showed so obviously how inept they were at handling the source material that actually gave Marvel Studios an edge in the negotiations to get the movie rights back.
Oh, wait, now I remember. Yeah.
No,
now I remember.
Absolutely.
The email leaks.
Yeah. Literally the only good thing Kim Jong-un has accomplished is giving us Tom Holland as Spider-Man indirectly.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, no. But yeah. Fuck, what was I talking about? What makes, like, a legitimate movie or not?
Honestly, you can't say Winter Soldier. So Winter Soldier versus It Too.
It's like two completely different genres of movie. Different people like them, different people dislike them. My point is, like, you can't disregard whether a movie is legitimate cinema or not just based off of the genre.
Right.
Because, like, by that logic, I could literally disregard half of Scorsese's filmography and say, oh, he just makes mob movies.
Exactly.
No, he makes lots of movies of different genres.
Yeah.
And it's like, none of them are more or less authentic than the other.
Right.
Regardless of the fact that Scorsese directed them.
Right.
Because, if I want to be honest, one of the reasons I like MCU movies more than Scorsese movies is I can see people that look like me in a Marvel movie. I don't think Scorsese knows what a black person is.
Oh, God. Where's the lie, though?
Point to one fucking Scorsese movie that has minorities in it that aren't, like, either complete caricatures, or he was just forced to
background.
He was forced to put them in there because it was based off of a real thing that happened. And it was like, oh yeah, no, turns out minorities were involved in this, so I guess they have to be in there.
You know what that inspired me to do now?
Huh?
I want to ask people who've seen The Departed if they remember that Anthony Anderson is in it.
Okay, you know why I can't watch The Departed?
Why?
Because I still can't tell Mark Wahlberg and Leo DiCaprio and Matt Damon apart from each other. Like, early 2000s, you put them next to each other, I cannot tell Matt Damon and Mark Wahlberg apart from each other. And you want me to watch a movie where they're both in it? I'm going to be too confused. Like, he literally picked the three biggest white actors that look the most similar to each other and cast them in his big, like, mob movie or whatever.
Yeah.
Is Departed even technically a mob movie? It's organized crime, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay, it's a fucking mob movie. I don't care.
As a matter of fact, it's a remake of a Chinese movie.
Oh, wow. Scorsese did a remake? Don't tell a fucking film snob to think all reboots are fucking awful. I don't know if they'd be able to handle that.
You said as your dad walked into the room.
Fine with it. I'm an adult.
That's true.
Anyway, it's like, when you look at Spielberg, 90% of his filmography is adaptations of novels.
That's true. Yeah.
Granted, he doesn't adapt them faithfully most of the time.
Which, honestly, he shouldn't, because Ready Player One.
Which raises the question, if is it legitimate cinematography if the source material isn't worth adapting?
Right, if it's worthy center, yeah.
Yeah.
Even if I don't want to go for the low-hanging fruit with Ready Player One, frickin' Jaws. I will buy you a steak dinner if you could finish the book that Jaws is based on.
Can we go back to The Godfather then?
Yes.
Can we talk about how Coppola was literally disliked the book so much the first time he read it and almost dissuaded him from making the movie?
Yes.
I mean, the studio execs described the book to him, like, as it was being written, and he got so excited to make this movie. Then he got halfway through the book, put it down, and was like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this? And he literally cut 2/3 of the book out in order to make the movie. And then
you had to, because it's like an 800-page book or some shit.
Yeah, 2/3 of it is about, like, a woman getting plastic surgery because her vagina's too big.
Because vagina's too big.
And
and Sonny's penis. Yeah,
and then the other third or whatever, it's about the Godfather's godson, who's like the actor guy.
Right. Yeah.
Johnny, whatever his name is. Fucking Johnny Hollywood, I don't know.
Yeah. And there's also a bunch of extra characters at the beginning who get their own back. The opening of the movie where the daughter's wedding, Like, all the people who asked him for favors, well, first of all, there's more of them in the book.
And they all have their own subplot.
They all,
right?
they each get, like, their own essay, introductory essay, that they all end with the sentence, "We must seek out Don Vito Corleone."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah.
Yeah, no. I mean, objectively, Godfather and Godfather Part 2, probably greatest movies ever made.
Yes.
And, like, Godfather Part 2, so, like, in Godfather Part 2, the whole, like, subplot where it's flashbacks to Vito.
Right.
That was part of the book.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, everything that's in the present day with Michael was totally original by Coppola for the movie.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So literally, he took the book, cut out 2/3 of it, the rest of it was split between 2 movies, and the second movie, half of it he wrote himself. I mean, like, at that point, is it even really an adaptation? Like, how loose do you use the term adaptation? Like,
the fact that we had to purchase the film rights from the author.
Honestly, most of the MCU movies, that's the only reason any of them are considered adaptations. Like,
really?
Most of them play pretty fast and loose with the source material.
Oh, definitely, especially Civil War.
Well, which is a good thing.
Well, yeah, because I don't think I've ever heard a good. Well, I heard good things from the wrong people, if you know what I mean.
Let's put it this way: before Iron Man the movie came out, most of the Marvel Comics fandom hated Iron Man because of Civil War.
Oh,
like here's the problem with the Civil War comics.
Yeah.
Well, the first issue was written by Mark Miller post 9/11. So as much as he tried, he failed to keep any of his politics out of it.
Lovely.
Yeah, no, like the Superhero Registration Act was literally the fucking Patriot Act. First off.
Yeah, but for the uninitiated, just Mark Miller is the genius who brought us Kick-Ass and The Boys. 2 more instances where the motion picture adaptation version is better than the comics version.
Because it does not stick to the source material.
Exactly. Like, Jesus Christ, I could fill a whole episode of how much better the Amazon Boy series is than the comics, because, dear God.
Yeah, like, I follow Kaiser Neko on Twitter, and, like, he straight up said, oh, so after finishing Boys, I decided to try to read the comic, and, nope. That's basically what he said.
Yeah.
And this is from one of the guys who was a co-writer for Hellsing Ultimate Abridged.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, no.
So anyway, the comic is basically the Patriot Act.
Well, they also, like, straight up and make Iron Man, Reed Richards, and Hank Pym fascists.
Oh.
Because their plan to round up all of the heroes that don't want to sign the Superhero Registration Act is to start hiring supervillains as mercenaries to hunt them down and to capture them, and then they throw them down into the negative zone.
Yikes.
For the uninitiated, the negative zone is where they trap Galactus.
Fuck!
Because that's their idea of how much they need to do to capture all these people. And of course, it indirectly led to One Day More, or One Last Day, whichever one it was. Basically, Peter Parker is initially Iron Man's side, reveals his secret identity, which is part of signing the Accord. Leads to Aunt May getting shot and his internal condition, which makes him regret and betrays him and joins Captain America's side. Yeah, which I could do a whole episode of why One Day More sucks, but much more qualified, coherent people than I have already talked dead horse to death.
Yeah.
Just all I'm going to say is fuck Joe Quesada. That's all I need to say about that.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. But, yeah, so source material and then adaptations.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I think I can actually rattle off quickly some differences between the Boy series and the Boys.
Ahead.
Okay,
yes,
so
I haven't actually seen it. So.
Okay, so there's the one aspect of because honestly, it's too quote unquote important of a seed for the plot to actually. So what they do is that they usually the show does is that it changes the execution really than more so the content.
Yeah.
So like in the comics, there's this young. I think her name is Starlight. I think
they're adults up here, so.
Yeah. Her name is Starlight, and
I know what you're referring to, by the way.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So she's part of her initiation or hazing process to go to join the Boys is that she has to, give oral sex, but
it's basically a rape scene.
In the comics, every single she has to basically run a train. The rest of the boys run a train on her, whereas in the comic, it's just one of them. So, not still...
It's marginally better in the sense that, immediately breaking your neck is better than the long, drawn-out death from cancer.
Right. Yeah. But what really elevates the show above the comics is her response to it. In the comics, she just becomes a shrinking violet and adopts a defeatist attitude and just goes running into the main character's arms because female. Whereas in the Glow is a great series, by the way. Whereas in the show, she has a defiant attitude and yeah. Well, do I really need to explain more than that? She's a lot more defiant and
basically they don't emasculate her.
Yeah, for lack of a better word. Yeah. Whatever the feminine equivalent of demasculation is.
Unfortunately, that word doesn't exist because in a patriarchal society, that concept doesn't exist.
Oh, God. But yeah, and then there's a lot of more differences that the main character, speaking of the main character, like...
Is the main character the guy Carl Urban plays?
No, he's actually... He gets the most focus, but he's not like our main protagonist, if that makes sense. Yeah. The main protagonist is the guy whose girlfriend dies in the opening.
Oh, yeah, I know what guy you're talking about, yeah.
Oh, but spoiler warning. Boy. A little late for that. But yeah, in the comics, he's just an asshole.
Yeah, I know. He's I tried reading comics and I didn't make it very far.
Oh, you tried reading the comics?
Like, way before there was an Amazon series, I tried to read the comics.
Oh, really?
Emphasis on tried.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I didn't make it very far.
Yeah, because in the comics, he's just like... Yeah. He's just like, casually racist and homophobic and bigoted.
My thing with just the boys is it's a holdover from the mid-2000s when The Dark Knight came out and everybody decided, oh, people only like superheroes if they're gritty and realistic and dark.
Realistic.
Yeah. Realistic apparently means gritty and dark.
Yeah.
Which tells you a lot about which people's worldview was in 2008.
Which, considering what happened in 2008...
I mean, I'm not saying that those feelings were invalid. I'm just saying I'm not happy with what it did to the entertainment industry.
Fair.
Because it's 2019. That's where my priorities are right now.
Right.
Yeah. Also, since we have Netflix on the screen right now, let's talk about how shitty their business model is. Right now, their business model has been reduced to make a great series. Series becomes popular. Possibly make a second season of series. Cancel series. Fan backlash. Ignore fan backlash. Renew 13 Reasons Why and Big Mouth for 15 more seasons, because why not?
Especially 13. Oh, God. I never watched 13 Reasons Why, but my brother did.
Yeah.
Now, you know my brother. He has a
higher bar for what he's willing to put up with in his fiction than we are.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so he said that the second season of 13 Reasons Why crossed a line with him.
I know what you were talking about, but go ahead and say
it. It's the scene where the guy gets raped with a broomstick.
I don't even know enough about the show to understand why that scene needs to happen, and I'm glad I don't.
It's because it's for motivation for the villain. Because the second season deals...
Why does the show need a villain? Isn't it about suicide?
No. The first season is. The first season is 13 Reasons Why the person making the tapes committed suicide. The second season is 13 Reasons Why the villain committed a mass shooting.
Oh, so it's just Riverdale at this point.
Yeah. Except it takes itself more seriously.
Yeah, say what you will about any of the shows on the CW, but at least none of them actually take themselves seriously.
Yeah, especially Riverdale.
Riverdale is literally just bad Riverdale. It's literally just bad Archie Comics fanfiction that got a TV deal somehow.
Which, honestly, yeah, there's a market for that. Look at Jupiter Ascending. Which, you know what? I take that back. And Jupiter Ascending was actually legitimately enjoyable.
Regardless of
really
quality,
fun.
It was legitimately enjoyable in spite of the fact it was trying to take itself seriously.
Right. We got furry Channing Tatum on rocket roller skates for crying out loud. Because, I mean, come on.
It's literally impossible to not be entertained by that, objectively speaking.
Plus, Sean Bean survives. Yay.
Isn't it funny how, like, casting Sean Bean in a role where he doesn't die is almost always a death knell for the quality of the thing he's in? Like... Literally, I don't understand. I don't know if he's doing this on purpose or not, but, like, he dies in so much shit. I know that, like, this has been discussed ad nauseum, but why does he only ever get cast in shit where he dies almost immediately? It's funny, because, like, in the UK, like, his breakout role was in, like, the series of, like, spy thrillers, like, Sharp. And, like, he's a fucking super spy. His whole thing is he constantly avoids death.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I don't know any of this.
Ever since Did GoldenEye come out before or after Fellowship of the Ring?
Oh, God, that's a really good question, because I know GoldenEye is one of the more recent Bond
ever
movies.
Since GoldenEye and Fellowship around that part of his...
See if I can look at it. Yeah, it's still recording, don't worry.
Ever since, like, GoldenEye and Fellowship, like, around that part of his career, he constantly fucking fights the dust in everything. Like, he was in Final Fantasy 15.
Wait, Sean Bean was?
Yeah, he voices Noctis's dad, who dies off screen in the first chapter of the book, of the game.
Huh.
Yeah, he literally has, like, 5 lines at the beginning, but he also voiced him in, like, the animated, like, prequel special thing they made. But, like, yeah, no, literally, he plays the dad in the JRPG, is my point.
Quick sidebar, when you said when GoldenEye came out, were you talking about the video game?
No.
Because, yeah, I know, because I always say that, because that's the first result that comes up from the Google search.
I meant the movie that it takes its name
Okay,
from.
so the movie came
97.
out... Wait, no, that's the...
Shoot,
that's the video game. Good lord. Movie release date... Okay, movie came out. GoldenEye came out in 1995.
Okay,
so,
that's before Fellowship.
So that's way before Fellowship.
Fellowship was 2001. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, ever since GoldenEye, I think he's died in basically everything he's been in. Mm-hmm. It's funny because in the ill-fated Percy Jackson movies, he plays Zeus.
So if he doesn't die, the franchise does.
Well, it seems like how it goes. It really seems like. They somehow managed to get enough, like, pull to make a sequel to the Percy Jackson movie, but I mean...
Just one.
Yeah. God, Percy Jackson deserves so much better. I'm hoping they make, like, a Netflix series out of it so it has a chance to, like, be well adapted.
Yeah, that brings me to another point. Can we just adapt all books into TV series instead of movies from now on?
2 things about book adaptation.
Yeah.
TV series instead of movie, and wait for the series to finish before you start adapting it.
Harry Potter.
Game of Thrones. Well, no. Game of Thrones, if you waited for it to finish, it still wouldn't have been adapted.
Right,
Whether
exactly.
you think that's good or not is, not for me to decide.
Yeah, exactly. I just don't have the energy to even watch any of the HBO show by this time, because...
No.
Hell, I don't even have the energy to read Fire and Blood. Fuck that. I don't want to read any more encyclopedias about whatever the hell the name of the place is.
If you're like me and you're just constantly obsessed with world building and lore, then that's fine. But honestly,
exactly,
I would rather read the fucking resulting wiki articles than actually buy and read the encyclopedia.
Yeah.
It's just, I am excited that they're apparently going to try and adapt the Dance of the Dragons, and because the guys who made the show aren't attached to it. So there's a chance for it to actually be good.
Oh, good.
Yeah. And also because that's, like, my whole favorite, like, part of the Game of Thrones lore, is the Dance of the Dragons, because that was the Targaryen, War of Succession. And it was called the Dance of the Dragons because both sides had a shit ton of dragon riders, like... Yeah. And it was like, I could literally talk for hours about why I just love the Game of Thrones world-building lore. Like, even though most of it is basically just European history with dragons attached.
Oh, okay.
I still love it.
Yeah. Well, that's what you gotta do. Real life inspires fiction.
Of the events the characters involved still have to be interesting for me to give a shit.
Exactly. Yeah.
And, like, honestly, there are so many characters in, like, Game of Thrones lore and, like, pre-canon history that are way more powerful, way more interesting than any of the canon characters, honestly. Like, the whole point of Game of Thrones is within the context of this world, these are the fucking scrubs. Like, this is the world is on its last legs, and these are the morons who are tasked with preserving what's left of it.
Wow.
It's like if Star Wars had started with the sequel trilogy, and then, like, the prequels and the original and the trilogy was all just expanded universe stuff.
Whoa, that's trippy.
But that's literally what it is, though. Like, imagine that we never actually saw Anakin Skywalker in the movies, and he just only ever was referred to by name or as, like, Darth Vader's old self. Like, that's, like, the status of some of the characters in, like, pre-canon Game of Thrones.
Good lord.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically we started
Jon
from
Snow,
Force Awakens. Wow.
Jon Snow is basically just Rey.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no. But like I said, I just want the books to come out, not even because I'm invested in how the series ends. I just want to see the fandom war between people who prefer the books and the series ending.
Yep.
Because I know there are going to be a shit ton of differences.
Yep.
And I just want to see people
tear each other apart.
Although, to be real, with the way the show ended, I'll be amazed if anyone even cares enough to have that argument at this point.
That is a great point. Yeah.
I don't think anybody is going to defend the show's ending.
Right.
Unless the books somehow shit the bed even harder than the show.
Which is entirely possible.
I mean, yes.
Let's be real. Well,
I will admit that a large part of the reason why the showrunners were probably struggling around season 6 and 7 is because the books write themselves into a corner and no one has any idea how George Martin's supposed to get himself out of it. Granted, that doesn't excuse all the other mistakes they made, but I mean, like I said, more coherent
it didn't help.
and knowledgeable people have talked ad nauseum over why that show went to shit.
Shout out to Lindsay Ellis.
Yeah. Gotta love white men failing upwards, right?
Yeesh. At least...
Happy Thanksgiving, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah.
Today we are thankful for that one Twitter thread that apparently made D&D lose the job for the next Star Wars movie. You know, say what you will about the Disney monopoly, it is bad, regardless of the quality of their products, but it's just like, what is their competition really doing to fight it? Because
part of the problem is they don't have any competition because they're buying out their competition.
True, right.
The only company in recent memory that could have been legitimate competition was Pixar. And now Pixar's a part of it.
Right.
Then they bought out Fox.
Fox.
Yeah.
Which, okay, but why were they able to buy out Fox, though?
Because Fox hadn't done anything worthwhile in a long ass time.
Exactly. Because they were...
I mean, but that's...
Oh, God, I'm getting into very financial Darwinism here.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Capitalism really is just financial Darwinism.
Yeah.
Ugh. I mean, and then...
But it's like, what are we supposed to do about it?
The only other time in history that I think a monopoly has been broken up by the U.S. government forcefully was with AT&T.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
But the thing is, they didn't really put enough sanctions in place on the resulting companies.
On purpose.
Because most of them just reconglomerated later on anyway. Yeah. Because none of the resulting broken up companies had a chance to thrive on their own. So it's one of those things where it's like, something needs to be done, but there's no precedent for what's been done, so there's no guarantee that anything that is done would be done correctly.
Right.
Which is paradoxical in and of itself, because you're supposed to establish a precedent by fucking doing something for the first time.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But expecting the government to do anything that would benefit anybody is not for 2019.
Well, that's not true. They do something to benefit people. Granted, those people are bribers. I mean, lobbyists, but, you know.
Why is lobbyism legal? I mean, I understand why it's legal. I mean, more in the rhetorical, humanitarian sense, why is it allowed?
Because there's... Well, now I get to use my law degree. Yeah, because of a Supreme Court case called Citizens United, basically says that restricting funding, the amount that anyone... Basically, restricting the amount of money that you could contribute towards a client, or a candidate, is considered an infraction on free speech. Yeah. Scalia wrote the opinion. I think I have to double check that.
Fucking course he did.
Yeah. I swear to God, one of the few times that broken clock was correct was when he wrote but he was also in the majority opinion for the Supreme Court case that granted First Amendment protection to video games.
I mean,
again.
But he was still only doing that because, you have to be completely consistent with giving free speech to everything if you want to use it to justify being a racist bigot.
Exactly. Yep. Although I will say this, because this is just the kind of person I am, I listened to the oral arguments for that case when they was being heard, and Justice Kagan actually asks the lawyer who's trying to defend the bill that was banning the video games would Mortal Kombat be banned under this bill? And I got to listen to a lawyer basically stutter and admit that he had never played Mortal Kombat. And then Kagan revealing that she had gotten exposure to it via her interns.
It's amazing how actually knowing what the fuck you're talking about can benefit you in most situations.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Anyway. Here's to Ginsburg living a long and healthy life.
She really deserves to outlive everybody else on that bench.
Maybe I don't know. She I would extend that blessing to also Sotomayor and Kagan.
Okay, yeah, Sotomayor and Kagan.
Because especially Sotomayor.
So I think what we're getting at is all the women.
Yes.
On the bench.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. Especially Sotomayor. Sotomayor is her dissenting opinions on cop cases where because there is a Supreme Court case where it was an 8-1 decision saying that as long as a cop makes a reasonable mistake of the law, then they can't be held accountable.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Guess who the one dissenting opinion was?
Sotomayor.
Yes.
That's why you need minorities.
Yeah, on the bench.
Yeah.
Well, Thomas doesn't count.
Thomas lost his minority card
Yeah.
decades ago.
Yeah. I hate to say it.
I mean, the list of reasons why he's lost it is probably longer than the amount of, like... I don't have a good metaphor.
Longer than any casebook.
It's longer than the CVS receipt. I don't have a good metaphor. Fuck Thomas is my point. He doesn't deserve to have my brain cells spent on describing him.
Yeah.
Is my point.
Yeah. And George Takei tried once. He had to apologize for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm revoking that CVS metaphor. I'm saving it for someone who deserves it.
Yay!
Yeah. Thing with monopolies is it's just like, is there a point where the output justifies a monopoly's existence?
See, that's like my eternal conundrum.
The whole idea of why monopolies are bad is that it prevents other output from being made.
Exactly.
Like Disney becoming a huge conglomerate that literally can prevent other people from doing anything.
Exactly.
But at any point, does any of their output justify their ability to do that? I think part of the issue is that in entertainment is an art form, it's a form of expression, and you shouldn't be able to monopolize art.
Right.
I think when you have something like public utilities, here's the thing.
Yeah.
Under a socialist system, public utilities would be monopolized.
Exactly. Hell, Georgia Power is a monopoly right now.
Right. That's my thing with, like... Oh, I guess now we're getting political. I guess my thing with people who call for socialism is it's like... Look, if you're going to call for full-on socialism, you have to acknowledge the level of government regulation that would be involved in that.
Right.
But, like, my thing is it's
and you would require, like, a whole, like, scorch the earth, salt the ashes of the government, and then elect trustworthy people.
Especially in America. And here's the thing with America right now, is it's kind of paradoxical, I feel, to call for a system of government that is so heavy in government regulation, while the people calling for that also explicitly distrust and do not support the current administration.
Right.
But then it gets into the whole thing where you sound like you're one of those, you dislike society and think it should be improved, and yet you participate in society. Argument.
The Boris comic.
Yeah, that.
The Boris comic,
It's like, obviously but it's just, like...
Yeah.
The thing with that is that it's not going to be an immediate change. You're not going to elect Bernie Sanders and suddenly everyone has universal healthcare and all that shit.
Right, because remember, we still have Republicans in Congress.
Yeah, every change that you want has to be gradual, and you have to be willing to work for those gradual changes. Like, the thing with white...
Gradual. Emphasis on gradual.
The thing is, white activists don't understand gradual change, because they've never had to work for gradual change. Black people and minorities in this country worked for centuries, and they still haven't really gotten equality.
Right.
White people protest for a week, and, like, rated M video games exist.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, I'm not saying that white people can't have political opinions or activism. I'm just saying they've never had to really campaign against the level of oppression and bullshit that minorities in this country have, and therefore they lack that intrinsic understanding of what goes into doing that.
Right.
And it's like, and I'm not trying to say, all white people are fake activists, because they're not. I'm not trying to paint with that white brush.
Thank you for spelling this out in this year of our Lord 2019 where nuance is dead.
Really though. I mean, and that's like where you get into cancel culture. No one is allowed to, there's a checklist for what you have to believe in order to be a decent person. If you don't check every single box on that list, you're not a good activist or good liberal. And I'm not saying that, people shouldn't be held accountable for being rapists or whatever horrible shit. That's not what I mean. I mean, it's like, if someone made a racist comment in 1991, and they say in 2019 that they're a better person now, I'm not saying they should be totally let off the hook, but they shouldn't, be fired or arrested, and, they should be given a chance to demonstrate that they've changed.
See, here's the thing, though. It's even debatable that cancel culture even exists, because
nobody's really suffered any long-lasting
right,
which is what I was going to say next.
Which
is and then it's also you're wasting your energy because you're not changing anything. That's not where your energy should be directed. Especially when, it's been weaponized by the right.
Yeah.
Look at the shit that happened with, Justin Trudeau recently. Is it an issue that he wore blackface?
Yes.
But it's a bigger issue that it was only ever brought up by the Conservative Party trying to discredit him. There's a reason that nobody ever mentioned it until he was up for re-election.
Hello, James Gunn.
Mm-hmm. Well, also, I think the
Yeah.
difference there is James Gunn has also demonstrably become a better person over the years.
Yeah, he really has.
I'm not
Yeah.
knowledgeable enough of Canadian politics to say anything about Justin Trudeau or his policies, and I'm not
Right.
to know what's going on there.
Which, from what little I've seen, Canada's Indigenous population has some choice words for him. But like I said, not my fight.
Like, I hate to say it, I don't think this is an ignorant thing to say, but some people think it is. There's too much shit going on in America right now for me to fully educate myself on other countries' politics.
Exactly.
Like, I'm not totally sure what the fuck is going on with Brexit, but I'm too busy trying to understand what the fuck is going on with our government.
But basically, all I know about Brexit is that we're gonna do it. I swear we're gonna do it. I swear we're gonna. That's just, I don't know how many years of that bullshit. Yeah. What were we talking about at first? This all stemmed from a conversation of Indiana Jones.
Yeah. Yeah, we started with Indiana Jones, and then now we're talking about
Brexit.
Yeah. Yeah, that's about how it usually goes.
Yep. So I actually think I actually went on the way here. I think I actually came up with a name for what our eventual show is going to be.
Yes.
Busted Limes. Because since it Trinity play on the Trinity term, bust a lime.
Yeah, no, that works.
Yeah,
that works.
Busted Limes.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, my throat's getting sore. Let's cut it here.
All right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.